Hey babes, I'm Cynthia.
And I'm Beverly. Grab your favorite drink. Let's sip and chat.
Welcome to Tipsy and Truthful, the podcast.
Period. Hey babes, welcome to another episode of Tipsy and Truthful, the podcast where two best friends sip and chat about life, relationships, parenthood, and everything in between. Did I get that right?
It's only episode 15.
I mean,
You
I'm the one who made that up. But
You would think that she knows it by now.
listen, girl, my brain is freaking
Oh,
fried.
so let's get into that.
Okay.
You didn't even say I'm your host.
Yeah. Well, I'm Beverly.
And
I
I'm
think.
Cynthia.
I'm
sure.
You sure you're Cynthia? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm like 80% sure that I'm Beverly. We are gonna start with our highs of the week and our opportunities of the week.
I didn't even think this far.
You don't have it planned in it. I don't either.
Let's see what we come up with.
Okay. Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
You seem eager.
My high of the week is very hard to think of. Oh, I'm gonna think of one. We've had this TikTok challenge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where we are challenging ourselves to post something, anything, every day. I named it that. I don't know why. I think that's a very long and unnecessary name, but I named it the
30 days of anything.
30 days of post something, anything. Post something, comma, / anything. I don't know. Clearly my brain is malfunctioning.
She's had a week, guys.
But my high of the week is that I've been consistent for the last, what's today, day 4?
Mm-hmm.
Day 3?
Day 4.
I wrote day 3. I posted today on day 4 and I wrote day 3.
Well, you didn't do a day 3 yesterday, so probably that's why.
I did day 3 yesterday.
Oh, shoot.
Okay.
We'll fix that. It's okay.
I'll edit that. The point is that I've been consistent, so that's my high of the week.
Mm-hmm.
My opportunity is there's been so much going on. I've mentioned that my son Jace has been diagnosed with autism, and he's had a really rough week. Okay, he does a lot of vocal stimming. I don't know if he's in the other room right now screaming. A lot of vocal stimming, so he'll have like a high pitch screech, and
nonstop.
Usually it'll, he'll just do it. He screeches, it like helps regulate him, and he's back to normal. It's been nonstop for like a week, more than a week, I think. And it's been really affecting my nervous system. It's been like, I'm like heightened. And, I have an opportunity to work on, I don't know, breathing techniques, prayer, meditation.
Patience.
I don't know. But I have an opportunity here to work with that because it's really, I'm like in a funk. It really took a lot for me to sit here and record today. I won't lie.
And today is Sunday, so we took Friday off because of this.
Mm-hmm.
You were already tired. She didn't sleep, but nothing's new. She never sleeps. And then Saturday we had a snowstorm. Now on my TikTok, I said that Massachusetts cries wolf all the time. Mm-hmm. And they say we're getting 6 inches, 7 inches of snow. And we get like maybe a quarter of an inch.
That was the day that they canceled school everywhere.
Yeah, and we were like, are you serious? Well, I had to go into work. But, yesterday we actually got snow. So we didn't record Friday because you were tired. Mm-hmm. Saturday we had a little snowstorm. And then Sunday, here we are.
Yeah.
And she's still tired. But
not even tired.
I know, you're just like
my brain is flatlining.
Uh-oh. No. For me, the highs of the week were... What were my highs? Let's think.
The TikTok thing.
Okay, the TikTok thing is a good thing. Jessica being here, it's another high.
She's obsessed with Jessica.
It's not that. It's just that we didn't have to do it by ourselves. And honestly, I have someone to pick on, so it just works out in my favor.
The feeling is mutual.
I think it's the other way around. I pick on you.
Yeah, she
and I pick on you. First of all, the opportunity is being able to pick on Jessica. Those are my opportunities. No, I'm kidding. But my opportunity this week, I think it's I'm pretty good with consistency, but I think that I'm being forced to be mindful. About like thinking about my day to day, and thinking about I gotta post on my tiki-taki.
Your tiki-taki. Your brain is switching to an influencer brain.
Yeah, and it's cool. I'm like,
Because
this
our
is what the
vision
girls
board-
do? Oh my God, all right.
Is this a girl's do?
Let me do a voiceover. But yeah, it's been fun. For me, it's been a better week than last week.
Yeah.
Mm. Half of the week has been good. Half of the week has been kind of funky too. So I get it.
Mm.
We've
But
been
we had a nice little date night, a triple date night
yeah.
last night.
Mm-hmm.
We went out to the movies. We watched that new boxing movie, Creed 3.
Don't call it like you don't know what it is. We've seen
That
every
hunka junk, Michael B. Jordan.
I know. We were not being appropriate. And our husbands noticed.
Just a little bit.
I even took a picture with Michael B. Jordan. I was like, oh God.
I may have kissed the poster on the outside.
You may have grinded the poster.
I was like twerking on it.
It was fun though. I love Creed. Like I think it's a great story plot. And Michael B. Jordan, eye candy.
You can't go wrong.
He's beautiful.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So this week we want to talk about
Wait.
whoa.
Beef. Now that we're talking, I'm so sorry. If you haven't watched the movie Creed, go watch it. But I was thinking, we knew what our episode was gonna be, and there was a moment in the movie where he had what we're gonna talk about, and I was thinking, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
If you guys can hear Jason in the
so
background,
sorry.
we apologize. Again, he's having a rough week. So yeah, bear with us, my poor baby. But yeah, in this movie, his wife is actually really emotionally mature.
very.
And she has a lot of conversation with him about like, what are you feeling? I need to know, like, let me in. And how there are other ways to deal with emotion versus other than just fighting.
Mhm.
Which she says to him, that's like your go-to way of dealing with emotions.
Which he's good at
Yeah.
because he puts all his energy there.
Mm-hmm.
He's unable to communicate like how he really feels, so he goes to physical.
Mm-hmm. That's his outlet.
That's his outlet.
So we want to talk about emotional maturity and emotional immaturity. I have a definition for emotional immaturity. It is, and I'm quoting from somewhere.
Psychology.com.
Thank you. Emotional immaturity is a tendency to express emotions without restraint or disproportionately to the situation. How would you explain that in like layman's terms? Like,
Basically, does your reaction match the situation, the size of the problem or situation?
you were saying that you use this with some of your kids at work.
It's true. It's funny because we do. Two of my kids are on behavior plans that helps them.
I'm sorry, babe. Can I interrupt you real quick? Can you, in case people haven't seen the other episodes, can you say what you do for work?
Of course. I work with children on the spectrum also. So I work in special education. And so right now my caseload is 5th grade, even though I've been with them since they were in 2nd grade. But so 2 of my kids are on these behavior plans where they overreact a lot. So clearly the way that they express or like the size of their reaction, the reaction to a problem needs to match. And most of the times they don't match. They overreact in situations.
For example?
Okay, so one of my kids, she's obsessed with pencils and like highlighter. For her, everybody steals her stuff. When she can't find somebody stole it. Somebody stole my notebook. No, you misplaced your notebook. And so let's look at the situation right now. In that moment, we say, okay, is it a big problem or a small problem? Now, I want you to think about your reaction. Does it match the size of the problem?
Mm-hmm.
Because if not, then we got to reevaluate.
Yeah.
And so it helps them, one, break the reaction because they're not, once you like, or we're like, okay, the size of the problem, does it match right now? Like they're interrupted. They can't continue overreacting.
Yeah.
You interrupt them. And 2, it forces them to realize like, okay, this is pretty stupid because I know my notebook is in my desk, like, and I shouldn't be screaming in the middle of class, So same applies to adults.
And not even for children that are not on the spectrum.
No, to everyone.
After you told me that, I'm like, I'm definitely going to use that in my house because from my 13-year-old down to my 1-year-old, all the way up to the 2 grown-ups in the house, sometimes
I do it. I
our
use it.
reactions don't match the problem.
I use it. Even on myself, I'm like, okay, Cynthia, calm down. Like that was a huge reaction for a small problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where emotional immaturity or maturity comes in.
Yes.
Depending on how you react to certain situations, problems, whatever it may be.
So we have like this, I guess, chart.
A
that
good chart.
a good chart that we want to go basically examples of situations that are emotionally immature, and then how to turn that around. What's the emotionally mature way to handle it instead? Do you want to start, babe?
Sure, I'll give you one. This is a very helpful chart because it makes you realize, like, okay, I got a problem. I'm not as mature as I
was.
Exactly as I thought I was. And a big one is, so the immaturity, emotional immaturity could look like, when you view others as incompetent because your way is better than everybody's way. The mature thing to do is see shortcomings as part of being human because everyone makes mistakes and we're not perfect.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I'm not capable of doing certain things or not, And I feel like that's a huge one. They're like, you're so dumb. Let me do it.
That's something. That's one of the big areas where I struggle.
It's funny because I said that because of me. That's something that I'm working on. I feel like I do things better than everybody else. Not that I do. It's just that I trust.
Yeah.
But that's me being emotional immature. That is just that I trust the way that I do things. But who says that the way I do things is the right way?
Or the only way.
Yeah. So I'm gonna work on that, guys.
Me too. I'm a big never mind girl.
Which is also disrespectful.
It's super rude. But if I today my daughter, we were driving and I was trying to we were picking up lunch. So I'm like, here, I'm driving, so you do the order on my phone. Just type in the card number. And she started typing it. She's like, wait, what it's asking for the date, the expiration date on the card, and she didn't know what it was. She doesn't use a car frequently. So instead of explaining, I was like, never mind, I'll just do it when I park. And I caught myself real quick and I was like, oh, okay, and then I showed it to her. I'm like, it's these numbers, mommy. But that's one of my, I snapped it, never mind, I'll handle it. Because I feel like she should know, but bro, she's a kid.
I know. She doesn't have her own debit card.
That was my emotional maturity, coming to the surface. Is there another one?
So emotional immaturity, I want to say this is something that's very common is to defend what is familiar because complexity is overwhelming. So when you are used to doing something a certain way, that's the only way to do it. And so because it's overwhelming to think there's other ways to do it, or maybe I have to change the way I'm doing it, people have a hard time saying, you know what, maybe the way you're doing it is easier, better, more beneficial. Maybe I should try it. People just refuse to change their ways.
Is that when people say yo soy así? I'm that. I'm
that.
And
I was trying to be nice about it, but let me tell you,
this is about being
tipsy
truthful.
and truthful moment. My husband has said that to me in the past, and listen, it didn't turn out well. It didn't turn out well for him because I was like, tú eres así. Pues yo soy así. No, but I have to. It's hard to always be the bigger person in those situations because we're human.
Yeah.
And especially us being on this journey, of self-growth and being the bigger person, it's hard catching yourself because I'm like, oh, tú eres así. It's on.
You're
Me too.
Bet.
Let's get it on then. No, but then I catch myself. I'm like, okay, that's not a valid explanation or reason.
Yeah.
I'm
just like that.
No, we're all here to grow and learn and, change, evolve.
It's unfair, especially when we're talking about people's emotions. It's unfair for me to say oh, you did X, Y, and Z and that really hurt me, and your comeback is, well, I'm just like that. Deal with it.
I'm a Virgo, so deal with it.
Exactly. I'm a Virgo, so that's how I am. Period.
Yeah,
that's really, it's emotionally immature.
Selfish
it's
too.
Selfish. We got to do better.
We definitely got to do better, especially in relationships and in parenthood. That's not a valid reason or excuse to minimize, hurt people, to not listen to people. No, I'm not okay with that. But the mature thing to do
in that same scenario
is be open to changing your mind when new information comes to the light. Being like, you know what? I never thought about things that way. Maybe I should try it. See if it works out for me. Instead of saying, yo soy así, I'm not changing. No somos así. No. All right, you go.
My turn. This is really small.
I know. I'm like, my contacts are malfunctioning.
Rigid about rules, but changes the rule if it's gonna
Oh, I don't
benefit
do
them.
that. But I am rigid about rules. But that one is a good one, actually. You only change when it benefits you.
The rule.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of an example. I can't think of one.
Okay, this might go. This might not be a rule, but like it is a rule.
What?
So we had an episode a couple weeks ago about someone wrote to us about her thinking that her husband is cheating on her.
Oh, we didn't know if it was a her or a he.
Oh yeah, a person. Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
So here the situation is, and this is just me thinking of different situations. So it's okay when you cheat, but it's not okay when the other person cheats. The rules change at that, and that might be a little extreme, but I'm just thinking
Oh,
about.
you mean like okay? So you're
the
saying
rules change because now I'm the one that's in the situation, and so I need you to forgive me instead of you forgiving me.
I think I know what you're saying. So you're saying the rule is we can't cheat or we have to break up.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm the one who cheats,
Like you gotta
all
forgive
of a
me.
sudden it's like, well, I mean, I made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Interesting, huh?
emotionally immature.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Or like rules about what it means to cheat.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it was just a text message.
Exactly.
That's not cheating.
But
like,
if you do it,
but if it's if it's the opposite
You cheated.
person, then it's a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What is the mature way to
yeah.
handle that? I can't. I lost
place
it.
people before rules. Live in grace, and you can identify ideology
In dogma.
In dogma, what is dogma?
I have no idea.
You Google it. You have Google.
No, I'm gonna Google it right now. Dogma, a principle or set of principles laid down by authority as inconvertibly true. Huh. A principle or set of principle laid down by an authority as, and like this is it. This is la ley.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Government.
Basically, dogma. Dogma. All right.
I get that. Hey, we're learning here on camera.
We're learning, yeah. Another one is a need to control others through guilt, anger, or shame. This may look like, let's say you and I are having a conversation and I disagree with what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want you to agree with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to control you by getting mad at you if you don't agree with me. By walking out of the room and slamming the door. By
yelling at you.
Yelling, by whatever.
Calling you names.
That's one way of being emotionally immature.
Oh, that's a huge one. And I feel like that happens a lot in relationships, guys.
And through guilt, too.
You know, especially
well, if you loved me, then you would agree.
Exactly. Oh, that's horrible. That's so selfish.
And then the emotionally mature way to handle that type of situation is being aware that they cannot. Okay. The emotionally mature way to handle that would be to know that you are not able to and you don't want to control others. Like everybody's allowed to feel what they feel and to think what they think, period. Just because some people don't agree doesn't mean, it's not the end of the world.
Something that comes to mind too is a person that that's emotionally immature is someone that's insecure.
How so?
A person that's insecure with themselves as a person is emotionally immature. They're not able to handle. They're not okay with who they are. So, and I only realize because they have it here as fundamentally fearful and insecure. The mature thing to do is the sense to know that you are strong, that you know how to self-regulate you know how to self-regulate your emotions, which honestly, we've talked about in our podcast in many episodes. We are just learning to regulate our emotions, to know how to measure the problem when it's like matching our reactions to the problem. Like we got, once again, we're learning to walk in that because we were never taught that. Our parents, for the most part, didn't practice that. If they got angry, there was yelling. If they got angry, there was slamming, there was name calling, there was disrespect, there was even in some cases physical repercussions to that. And I think that being where we are today, knowing that we have to learn how to manage our emotions before we have a reaction is not the easiest thing.
No.
Because for most of our lives, we're just reacting on our emotion.
Yeah.
Like you get angry, I'm yelling, I'm leaving, I'm calling you names.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Of course not. And at the end of the day, for me at least, I'm going to speak for myself, it makes me feel shitty
Yeah.
about myself as a person because I let someone else affect me to that level.
Yeah.
And I know that that's not okay, you know? So controlling that is huge.
And something we're working on still. Mm-hmm.
Even though I'm doing much better with it today because I immediately, the moment I feel like I'm going to lose control, I like have to close my eyes, take a deep breath and be like, walk away, because I'm going to say something very mean. Because
that's your punch.
Yeah, because I want to hurt.
You use hurtful words.
I use very hurtful words, and I know that's not okay. I hit below the belt, and I don't feel good about that because then I have to apologize because then I say things that are not only just mean, hurtful, like very hurtful, like things that you. And I'm not saying this happens all the time, but like I have to be very angry, like super angry to start hitting below the belt because I don't know what else to do. Because I'm just so hurt and so angry.
So Jessica is off camera, so you can't really hear her. She said that when people get really angry and they say something, that's truly how they feel. Like that was underlying the whole time. I hear what you say. It's a very common, like a lot of people think that. I disagree.
I disagree too.
I think that when you're hurt, and you're in fight or flight, your first instinct is to defend yourself. Whether that's how you really feel or whether you know that, okay, I know that these are the words that are going to hit this person where it hurts. I know that if I call this person a bad mom, they're going to really feel it.
Because they're working on being a good mom.
I know that if I call him irresponsible, he's going to really feel hurt.
Because you know he's working on being responsible.
Exactly.
It's because you know that those are the things that are going to trigger them.
It's because you know what the triggers are, not because you really, truly deep down feel that way. That's what I think.
And I agree with you. Like, I'm with you on that.
I think that when we're hurt, it brings us to a place where we're not us. And I don't think that what we're saying out of this hurt and this anger is 100% like, oh, this is what I really feel. I've just been hiding it underneath the love.
No.
I don't want to believe that. I don't
believe that. Because I just feel like you said, you're like, okay, I know that they're working on this. Let me hurt them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit below the belt, and that's me, man.
I'm gonna poke the scab.
I'm gonna hit below.
You don't think so?
For me,
that's okay. You can.
Yeah, I know we could agree to disagree. For me, I know that that's what I've done. I don't think that on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But I'm just like in that moment, I'm so hurt that I'm like,
I'm gonna hurt you back.
I'm gonna hurt you back, even if it's not true.
Yeah.
Even if this is something that I know you struggle with, and that's where that's not okay, because I know if this is something you're working on intentionally. And I'm going to bring it up. I know it's going to hurt you.
Yeah, it's good.
And my point is to hurt you.
Yeah.
At that point. I mean, very immature.
The fact that you recognize it and you're currently working on it, that's not immature. I've had to apologize
a million times.
That's mature.
Well, that's why. Because it's not okay to continue to apologize for things that I say that I'm not going to do anymore. That's not fair. And I don't want that to happen to me. So I have to be aware. Be like, okay, if we get in arguments... I can't do those things. You know, that's not how we're going to solve this problem. Number two, if they did it to me, I would feel so horrible.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, words hurt more than anything. Those things you carry with you forever. Like even and that's why I don't want to do them anymore. Like, and I catch myself when I am going to be, when I'm going to be very mean. Because I know that you can carry that forever.
Yeah.
I have.
Me too.
And it hurts. They come to your brain like when you're least expecting and you're doing the dishes, you're like, you remember your piece of shit?
Who said
that? Who said that?
Yeah. I can think of words that have been hurtful and it's been years and I can still hear them in the voice. Yep. My body will be in the same space.
Hey, fight or flight.
Yeah. I definitely can relate to that.
PTSD, they bring you back to that moment.
This is one that I've had to work on. I'm continuously working on it, especially with my kids. It's called effective realism. Oh, is that this backward? Things are as they feel. Is this backwards? I'm so confused. Effective realism. Things are as they feel at the moment. So no, that's not the one I was gonna see. Okay, I can't find it. This is a really long thing, but I remember what it said, the gist of it. So it's basically when somebody tells you how they feel and you want to, you're like counteracting that. Like, well, you shouldn't feel that way.
Exactly.
Because of X, Y, and Z. And that's something that...
Validation.
Right. My oldest is now a teenager, right? So she's getting to, like, her grades are her grades, no, her classes are getting harder. And, the material is more complex. So when she comes home and she's like, I'm so stressful. I'm so stressed because of my grades, and I don't think this is going to go right in this test. And I have to stop myself from saying, well, babe, you have this going great in your life, this, and this, so you shouldn't feel stressed. I've had to correct myself when I have said it. And then I've had to stop myself from saying it. Because at that moment, even though what I'm trying to do is reassure my baby and tell her that everything's going to be okay, what I'm actually doing is telling her that it's not okay for her to feel stress. And that's wrong. She's allowed to feel what she feels, what she wants to feel in that moment. Mm-hmm. So instead of me telling her, you shouldn't feel stressed because your life is great, because you're wearing brand new sneakers every day. Instead of saying that, instead of saying all these things are going great, so don't be stressed, mm-hmm. I can say, I know you feel stressed, mommy. I understand. But things are going to be okay, I promise.
And giving them strategies instead. Mm-hmm. Instead of doing that. Like, it's not... You're fine, because
you're fine.
That form of invalidation, of not validating feelings, when you get older, it just turns into something greater, snowballs into so many things. And so we got to be careful how we, especially with kids that are going through like hormonal changes, physical changes, mental changes. There's mm-hmm. just so much going on.
Puberty is a lot for these.
Look,
for us.
It's humans. Crazy. It is. Mm-hmm. And people don't realize it because it happens so fast. But when the kids are in the midst of it, like so my kids have to take the health class about, everything that should be expected with puberty. Mm-hmm. And it's scary. Like, even me sitting in class with them, I'm flabbergasted. Because I'm just like, whoa, you don't really realize that in this short 2.5 years, your body's going through so many things. Yeah. And people wonder, like, este muchacho está loco. No. Yeah. There's literally so many hormonal changes, physiological.
I got you, babe.
Oh, thanks, babe. I checked this wine and some shots. And so that's always my excuse.
You're fine, mama.
So they're going through so many changes. And that also hinders their ability to rationally think of stuff. And you also have to think that their lack of experience in life, mm-hmm. because of the age that they have, they don't have all the tools. Yeah. And so when a problem like this they're facing, it feels like the end of the world. And we should understand that, because at that point
that's where I've tried to. I understand how it feels for you.
Exactly, because at that point in their life, with everything that's going on, think about school life. Like, that's school life, that's their whole life. Yeah. They don't have other responsibilities. So something goes wrong, then it's at the end of the world for them. Yeah. And so validating that is the right thing to do. Yeah. Be like, it's okay to feel frustrated. Mm-hmm. And we will continue to feel frustrated.
Yeah. And then come up with a plan. Like, okay.
Yeah. Like, what do you think is going to help you?
Is there a subject that you need more help with?
Yeah. Plan of attack.
Do you need tutors? Yeah. Do I need to sit with you and help you through this? Mm-hmm. Like, again, we're working on being more emotionally mature. We're not.
And we're working on listening, because I think another thing that we do being emotionally immature is automatically cut people when they're like, oh, but it's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. No, let me get my thought out before you say it's going to be okay. Because maybe it's not going to be okay. Let's be real. My world is falling apart, I just need to get it out. Sometimes you just want to, another person is trying to vent and you cut them off. And that's not okay, because that's not being emotionally mature.
I have another one that I don't know if it's on this list. This is too small, babe. Yes. And it's hurting my brain.
Okay.
But I found one. You can keep reading from it. I thought of one that I don't know if it's on there or not. Yeah, no, I took a screenshot and I'm zooming it in, but I keep losing where I zoom.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Something that I say this one because it's something that I'm very guilty of, especially with you.
With me?
Yeah. Emotionally dumping. So when I'm frustrated, let me say it. When I'm frustrated, when I'm having a bad day, when I'm angry, I will FaceTime Cynthia. No matter what time of the day it is, no matter what she's doing, I'm like, hey, babe, you don't even know. And I start blah, 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 and I tell her everything that I'm feeling and everything that's going wrong and why my world is a mess right now. And I'm working on, and I don't know if you've noticed it. I'm like, hey, babe, are you busy? I have to tell you something. You have time?
I have noticed.
Have you noticed that? That's not an accident. That's
You do
intentional.
it
Because I'm like, okay, I saw a post about like emotionally dumping, and I'm like, I'm definitely emotionally dumping on Cynthia literally every day. I need to stop because that's not fair to you. What if you already have your own stuff going on? I'm here
but I
taking
know
my
how to
dumpster
separate.
truck, like, here you go.
I feel like
Unfair.
that is we say this every episode, but I feel like that's why a relationship works. So honestly,
It's still unfair, baby.
but I don't mind. It's like our time, like our outlet to like just talk to each other. It's so funny because Beverly and I always complain, not always say that if she was a man or if I was a man, we would be married.
We would definitely be in a relationship. 100%.
We would be so married.
Yeah,
in a heartbeat.
We get along great.
We would have the happiest marriage
For
in the
real.
world. I think that's why a relationship works. I don't know. I just feel like we've been like this our whole entire lives.
Mm-hmm.
We've always
Although
been.
that's not really an excuse, because if it was something
Yes,
where it
but-
was making you uncomfortable, even if we've been doing it for 30 plus years.
Yes, but I feel like that's the difference because you're able to dump on me, but I'm also able to dump on you.
Yeah. And you
It's
know what?
balanced.
You know what it is too? I've noticed that, like, this week, babe, how many times I have when we've been talking and I cut you off,
Yeah.
and I'm like, babe, I'm sorry, I can't right now. I'll talk to you later. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And you don't get offended.
No.
And you don't get mad.
No.
And if you have to do the same, you've done it to me, babe. I'll call you right back, and you just click,
Mhm.
and I don't get offended, and I like.
There's a mutual respect and understanding.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Like knowing that like you don't owe me. Like if you're just venting, that you vent, and when you can't talk anymore, that's okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think that in relationships in general, you need that.
Yeah.
You need that. Because I mean, life is hard, guys. Especially now that time we're living, raising children, trying to be successful in careers and switching careers and
working on our mental health.
and keeping our mental health like stable is not easy. So when you don't have people that can understand you, where you feel safe, where you can express yourself, say how you feel, tell them, hey, what you're doing is really hurting me or bothering me because I'm tiptoeing around you because I don't know how you're going to take that. That's also adding to the stress I already feel. Like relationships and friendships like that.
Yeah.
That don't understand. And I think that one of the biggest thing is the miscommunication. People, like, we say this for real, communication is so huge in friendships, in relationships, in parenthood, at work.
Yeah.
Because if you're not effectively communicating how you feel, but also if the other person is not receptive to what you're saying, like actually taking it in and really listening to what you're saying.
Not just hearing.
Yeah, no, because
listening,
here, cualquiera puedo oír.
Yeah.
But
It's
actually,
taking it in.
Yeah. I feel like, that's the reason why we're all falling apart. Because everybody's listening to respond.
Yeah.
Not to actually like, okay, let me hear. Let me see where you're coming from. I want to understand why you feel this way. Why, whatever.
And that's another thing that's a big indicator of emotional immaturity. The unwillingness to try to communicate. Because I mean, we're all working on communication. I feel like communication is something our generation, the millennials, we were raised by parents who had a lot going on, like emotional. Like, think of all the baby boomers and like their generation, all that they went through. They didn't teach us. A lot of them didn't teach our generation, the millennials, effective communication.
Well, they didn't have it. They were going through so much shit, like worldwide. But you know what's crazy? We are we're the same as baby boomers. In a couple years, in the sense of everything that they went through at their time, like worldwide, like, depression and all that stuff, like coming out of a depression, coming out of the Great Depression and all that, all the financial strain, we're feeling it now. There was a point in time where they were fine. After that little bridge, everybody was like, elevándose. Everybody could live on one income. There was one breadwinner and then there was a homemaker, and that's how it worked. We're back to not being able to do that.
Yeah.
Because everything is just so expensive. Everybody has to work. Everybody has to contribute. And so even the children are forced to contribute in some way in their home. And so all that stress is like coming down on the family structure, the family foundation. So
the unwillingness to communicate, because we're all working on communication, at least trying to be like, okay, we are having this issue, correct? or I'm feeling this way. Let me try to get the words out. Because for me, I really struggle with finding the words that match my emotions. Is really, for me, is a big struggle. I'm like working on my emotional dictionaries.
Oh,
So-
I'm gonna bring you a sheet that we use at school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, bring it to me.
That's why Cairo tells me his zones. I'm feeling like red zone right now, or I'm feeling yellow zone, or I'm feeling blue zone,
I love
because those colors are identified with certain emotions, so that you're able to express to me like, okay, why do you feel that way?
that. Mhm.
Like if you're able to connect an emotion to what you're doing, it's easier to express that or communicate that.
I'll take all the help I can get, babe. Thank you.
No, and trust me, I use it too at school. I use it with my kids. You use it too? You need one? Oh, Jessica needs one too. I'm just gonna bring it for all the families, all right? Just and laminate them and
No,
just.
you know what? We're gonna do even better on our Tipsy and Truthful page. We're gonna either take a picture of it and post it, or like scan it. This would be a good tool for anybody to use.
And to use with your children. Practice
children.
it. I think that when you start practicing with your children, it starts seeping into your adulthood.
Yeah.
Because I started using it because of work. But let me tell you, I've brought that with me at home. And to my surprise, Carol uses it in his school. So all districts are adopting this way, so that kids are, because if parents don't know how schools work, I think in Massachusetts, it's actually required for kids to have SEL, which is social emotional learning.
Yes.
And so,
I love that.
And I love that because we
something
didn't have
new.
that.
We
But
didn't
that's
have
just
that.
a part of the curriculum, because people need to learn how to manage emotion. So if you didn't know and you live in Massachusetts, I don't know about any other states, but I know in Massachusetts, it's a mandated course that the school counselors actually, unless teachers are trained to give, school counselors usually come in once a week and have a social emotional class about like how to navigate certain feelings, bullying, this, and feeling about self and feeling about others. And so we're teaching that to them because we don't know, we didn't get that. And we realized, wait a minute, this is an issue. You know, we need to address this issue.
It's because I'm going to pat millennials back on the back. On the back right now. Back on the back.
Back on the back.
On the back
All right.
again. I'm going to pat millennials on the back.
Yeah.
I told you my brain was 80% function right now, if that. Guess who's in the school system now making the rules?
Yeah.
It's
Us.
our generation.
Yeah.
We're the ones saying, okay, this is what has been going on for all these years, but something has to change. We need to add something to help our kids know what to do with their emotions. And it might look different in each school district, maybe, because I know that my daughters are in middle school.
Well, it changes by grade level.
That's another thing, too. But for them, they have a block, like they have a class for the social, and it
So,
changes.
yeah, the older they get, they probably just get it more.
It's like a class where like, I think they do like maybe like a creative thing, and then
Yeah.
it switches to an actual class where they talk about bullying, or they had like
Same
a whole
in my
class
school.
on why
Same.
they do the Alice drills.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Mm-hmm.
I love that they're doing that in schools here so much.
Like last week, one of my counselor who I love, we're very close. I talked to her about I do personal dumping on her. I was like, hey, listen, I need you to hear me. She's like, my personal, she's like, I always have time for you, you know? But last week it was about perspective. So, you know, kids right now, and even adults, this could be helpful. Like the way that you view things doesn't mean that others view it that way. So we had an exercise where we all had to draw on the board. So everybody could only draw one thing, like one line, and they all had to connect. And everybody saw different things. At the end of it, we all shared what we saw. Because nobody saw the same thing. Everybody's like, oh, I see this, I see that. But nobody saw the real thing. And she's like, okay, exactly. And in life, you don't see not everyone sees everything the same way. And that's why it's important to hear another person now. Because the way that they're viewing things is different than the way you're viewing things. And that's why you have to be respectful and open to receive that. So that's huge that we're teaching that to our younger kids now.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I had a
I
situation.
think we need to teach that to some adults.
Yeah. So I had a situation recently in my personal life where I said something that I didn't mean to be hurtful, but it did hurt the other person, right? So in that moment, I was able to recognize like, okay, that was definitely not my intention, but I for sure can understand that it hurt you. And I apologize for that. But there's something big about your intention versus your impact. We need to understand that even if sometimes our words, our intentions, whatever, are not to hurt, our impact may be that it does hurt somebody. It comes with the emotional maturity of trying to recognize like, all right, from their perspective, it was disrespectful. From their perspective, I said hurtful words. From their perspective, I was belittling them. That's something else that comes with emotional maturity.
Mhm.
I have another one from the list, and I found the one that I was trying to say earlier. The way that they word it is use superficial logic to shut down other people's feelings. That's when I said that you shouldn't feel that way because. But this is one that I found. I don't even want to say that I see a lot in religion, but that's where I see it a lot. Is being proud of being unyielding and judgmental, but calling their rigid thinking moral fortitude. So that's like you're not.
And that's why I've been struggling to find a church. And this is, it's funny because there's a lot of things that I feel like in the last couple of episodes I've been talking about my journey in spiritually, right? And finding a church where I feel like, okay, yes, you are talking about everything I need to hear about the Bible, about the teachings and the lessons, but I also need that to correlate with what we're living in the world that we're living today. And I feel like in the church that we grew up with, and I love the church because it's just, it feels like home
It's
because
so hard.
it's hard because it feels like home. We knew everybody there our whole entire lives, basically.
Every time we go, we're like celebrities. Can I just say that? Everybody's like, oh,
what it's mostly like, they're like, dang, it's been a while.
It's been a while. Are those your children? They're grown.
I know, like they were here like a couple years ago. But like, and I love our pastor, but I realized that a lot of the way that they were brought up and the way that they talk about things doesn't align with the way that the world looks today. And so for me, I want to be held accountable, but I also need younger pastors, a younger congregation, because it doesn't look the same as when a couple years ago.
Yeah. If any of our listeners or viewers have any suggestions, we're in Massachusetts in the
We're trying to find a church.
Methuen, Haverhill, Salem, New Hampshire, like area. If there's any,
and we found one that is a very close contender, and I really love it. But there's just one particular thing that I just don't like about it.
It's really short. Are you talking about the one? Oh no, you're talking about the one that we always went to.
Yeah, I really like it, but I just feel like we gotta step up the worship team, and that's huge for me. You know what I'm saying? I needed some Maverick City up in there. If you know what I'm talking about. I need a real concert. Because it feels like it sets the precedent for the rest of it. I feel like when the singing is whack, it's just like the Holy Spirit didn't come. But all right, we'll sit through this preaching.
And we went to another one that I really loved.
Yeah, I was like, dang, where is it? Yeah.
We went to another one. I really loved it.
I really liked it.
Really
it was short. It was short.
It was really short.
And we were supposed to go today, but we didn't because life is always trying to mess things up.
Yeah. Anyhow, if you guys have any suggestions, please let us know.
We're open.
We're open. The census, Jessica just
Estamos abierta.
We're open. Estamos open, Joe. All right. Oh, I'm on the wrong side. I'm like, that sounds good.
Like, what are they talking about?
Seeing other people's boundaries as something to overcome.
Oh.
That's emotionally immaturity.
No, you didn't have to tell me that twice.
It wasn't confusing? Okay.
No, it was not confusing because we've talked about boundaries plenty times in this podcast. And I feel like people want to test those boundaries.
Yeah.
And they're like,
I can convince them.
Let's shake it up a little bit. Let's see what happens. And that's why we tell you guys it's important for you guys to stick to a boundary that you set. Because the moment you start letting wiggle room happen, it's not a boundary anymore.
Yeah. And emotionally...
Una cuerda ahí, flojita. And I'm just going to move and jump over.
Don't mind if I do. And just push this over there. No, but the emotionally mature way to handle that would be to see a boundary as what it is, which is that person protecting themselves and respecting it. Okay? You don't have to agree with somebody else's boundary. Period. You just deal with it.
It's not there for you to understand. It's there for you to respect.
Yes. I don't know if you want to do one more before we go.
Well, I just wanted to give when you're an emotional, mature person, we gave a bunch of examples. And now if you find yourself, like us, figuring out that you're not as emotional emotionally mature as you think you are, it's okay. You all got to start somewhere. The fact that you're able to recognize is, we've always said this, step number one, right?
Yes.
And it's important for you, as hard as it is, to be like, yo soy un problema. Y
I
yo
mean-
tengo que arreglar par de vaina.
Yo tengo un problema. Words.
Es verdad. Yo no soy un problema, es verdad. Yo tengo un problema. Ay, Dios mío. I think that's a huge step. But I feel like, look, if you want to be emotionally mature, being receptive to feedback and open to other people's perspective is one way you can start growing in emotional maturity,
Yes.
right? Because if you're defensive and always trying to defend your point of view and be like, no, que yo soy así porque yo crecí así, porque mi mamá era así, porque mi papá era así, porque my life was hard, entonces no estamos en nada.
Yeah.
Tú nunca vas a crecer. You're never going to move forward. You're always going to be stuck in the same circle, the same loop. You know, like, why is my life getting better? Well, my friend, you're defensive about everything that people are trying to tell you, right? Being able, and I'm going to repeat this, because being able to see other perspectives but your own is showing so much maturity. You know, sometimes it's hard to be like, yo, I've done this for 33 years of my life. It's hard to, let me look at the way that you're seeing things. It's hard. It's uncomfortable, right?
Accepting dual, what is it called? Dual realities.
Dual realities. Yeah.
So it can be true. Yes. It's true that
for
you
you,
didn't mean to hurt me, but it's also true that it did hurt
exactly.
the other person. That duality exists. Both can be true, guys.
When you know who you are as a person, being secure in who you are as a person, and being comfortable with that is huge.
Working on it.
Me too. Because let me tell you, we're just discovering who we are.
Yes.
What is that? Processing emotions before you react.
Again, working on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're realizing these things. See, it's not easy to recognize that sometimes you have a reaction before you're able to even process emotions. Like, if you don't process emotions before you have a reaction and you just have a reaction, let me tell you, you're going to regret it half the time.
Yeah.
You're going to regret it.
You're going to go back and realize, okay, maybe that reaction didn't really match the problem.
There we go, my behavior plan. That's my kids. I'm like, you didn't, your notebook wasn't stolen. You misplaced it in that messy ass desk of yours. So you got to apologize to all your classmates. You call them ladrones. She's like, who stole my, no, but nobody stole it. You misplaced it. Like, this is my everyday life. But okay. Having peace and stability. Now, man, that one's a tough one. It's tough for you,
Easier
babe?
said than done.
It's very hard to find peace and solitude in the life that you're living. Because it feels like life is going so fast and you don't have a chance to catch your breath. You know what I'm saying? So that is hard.
My last 2 weeks, it felt like that. Like,
And I get that, because
like I'm
last
running
week,
and I need to catch
vulnerable
my breath. moment.
Did I even say this on the? I didn't think I said
No,
this.
you haven't said it yet.
Okay, vulnerable moment, guys, because we're tipsy and truth. But I think last Sunday, I actually went to the hospital thinking I had a heart attack. I've been having panic attacks for a long time, a couple, like 10, 15 years, a very long time. But in the last couple of months, it's been nonstop panic attacks, and I'm able to get myself out of them. Last Sunday, I was just like, am I dying? Because why does my chest and my arm, why is my arm asleep, first of all? And second of all, why does my chest feel so tight? I'm having a heart attack. Take me to the hospital right now. So I was there in the hospital till 4 a.m. And I realized that it's just not being in control of things that happen in your life when you're trying your best takes a toll on me. It takes a toll on my emotional, my mental health. And so I caught myself, and I'm trying to, the moment I'm just complaining about certain things, I'm like, nope, it's going to be a great day. If it's about work, I'm like, nope, we're going to have a great day. Because if I start feeding into that, it puts me in that place. And I know that, I'm working towards not being there, because I've already expressed plenty of times in this podcast that even though I love what I do, I can't do it anymore. It's literally taking a toll on my mental health. It's taking a toll on my being a good mother, being a good wife, being a good friend, being a good person in general. It's sucking the life out of me. And so coming to terms with that and being at peace with, okay, maybe this is the end of that is not easy either. So I'm on that journey, guys. So pray for me, all the prayer warriors.
Thank you, babe, for being vulnerable and for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's I did not think you were gonna do that. I'm gonna be honest. So
Why?
thank you for being vulnerable. Because you like to keep, you're private. You're a lot more private than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't share that, I wouldn't have judged you at all. Because that's really vulnerable right there.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos to you, babe.
Aw, thanks.
You're welcome.
No, but I'm just saying that because I know some people may be going through that.
Yeah.
So the doctor told me, so I've never been diagnosed with anxiety, even though I know I have anxiety. The first thing the doctor said is like, you need to go see someone because you have severe anxiety, like severe. Like the fact that you've had nonstop panic attacks in the last couple of months, and you're able to recognize them that's step number one. Mm-hmm. You need to see someone and see how you can find help. Now, for me, this is why the spiritual journey is so important for me because, like I said, it has always kept me grounded. And journaling and doing all that stuff also keeps me it keeps me sane, keeps me in a good mental space. And I feel like when I get too far away from that, that's when I struggle a lot. So that's why like doing the TikTok challenge that we're doing is keeping me keeping me positive, keeping me on my toes, keeping me, productive. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes you get in a slump and you're like, oh, forget this. I don't want to do this. I'm tired, So yeah.
Something that you just said brought something up for me. We haven't done a nugget of a day in a while. And usually Cynthia does it, but we're gonna maybe do a dual nugget of the day because we're gonna do a dual
Dear Cynthia and Beverly.
Yeah.
And
I already said it's gonna be Dear Cynthia, and then you add 2 pennies at the end because I'm throwing my 2 cents in regardless. There is a nugget of the day that we want to give that we learned this week, and it's about the power of words.
Yes. That's a huge one.
Yes. Remind me because my memory is not as great as yours, but
it's huge. I've been so conscious about this.
Yeah, I've been working on that. But you know how earlier Cynthia said, "Oh, you have to tell yourself I'm a problem." We have to be really careful with how we use our words. Our words are so powerful, okay? And saying things like even as small as something that I always used to say, like when something's really funny, is writing "LOL, I'm dead," or putting the skull emojis. She in this video that we saw, she suggested that we say I'm living for that.
Exactly, you're living, but let's just say that this video is so big because she is a a person that studies the brain basically, and she found this through research. Like I guess she's doing a dissertation because I went in through a black hole, and so she is doing a dissertation for her doctorates. On the effects of the power of our words and how they affect our daily living and the way that we view our perspective on life.
What the heck?
What the fuck was that?
That was my
what was that?
I was about to say, I'll find it. My phone's on vibrate. Why did it sound?
Because it's ticky-tacky.
I was about to say, I'll find it and I'll repost it on a Tipsy and Truthful page so you guys can see the video.
we definitely...
I'll do that after since my phone wants to be super freaking loud. One kiss is all it takes.
But she is doing a dissertation on the power of our words. And so when I saw that video and I sent it to you, you're right. Like now I'm just like,
mind you, I'm word
not
police,
dead.
Okay,
I'm not dead.
I'm the word police. I've been working on this for a little bit longer than Cynthia on the power of words. Sure. So I'll catch Cynthia saying something and I'll correct and I'll be like, babe, can we let's say this a different way, right? But even it goes so as deep as things that we don't think about, like saying LOL, I'm dead. Why do you want to declare that you're dead? You don't want to die. I don't want to die, at least. I don't want to speak for anybody else. I'll speak for me. Beverly, I don't want to die. So instead of she gives like suggestions of things that we can say instead. Instead of saying, LOL, I'm dead, I started writing and I literally started finding funny videos just so I can practice. LOL, I'm living for this. It means the same thing.
That's the whole thing. It means the same thing.
Instead of saying, I'm so
Something
sick.
so negative.
I'm so sick. I have the flu. I'm going to say, I'm getting over the flu. I'm healing from the flu. Instead of saying, what else? She gave a few examples there.
I'm working on, like, if I say that, oh my goodness, I'm just so loud. I'm working on my volume. It's just simple things. It's just changing our language because, like we said a couple of episodes ago, our amygdala.
Is it? She says a whole different term. So
I know.
if we were saying it wrong,
No, but it is the amygdala. But she did use a
she
different
uses
term.
like a
But
different word.
it's just the way that when you say words, it scans environments.
Your brain's gonna scan your environment and look for proof to prove you right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you're telling,
that's how you stay safe.
Exactly. If you're telling your brain that you're always late, this is something I always say. I'm always late. Instead of saying that I'm always late, I'm gonna say I'm working on getting there earlier.
Mm-hmm. I'm working on being on time.
I'm working on being there on time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be on time this time. I'm leaving my house 15 minutes earlier. Because instead of my brain looking for proof that I'm always late, it's going to look for opportunities to make me earlier. Mm-hmm. It's going to say, okay, instead of you're on your phone on the pooper, instead of doing that, like, how about we wrap it up? Put your phone away.
How about we just poop?
How about we wrap it up? We just poop and get out of here. Like,
Dump and go.
Dump and go. But how did this go there? I don't know how we got here, but
The power of our words.
The power of our words. And
that goes with everything, guys. Like the negativity. And it's funny because I came telling Jessica about this on our way here. Even the things that we're ingesting. The things on social media that we're ingesting, movies, music. You need to be careful what you're letting in because that affects you to another level and you don't realize it. People are like, música es música, TV is TV, movies are movies. Now, maybe it's once again my influence.
Disagree. I don't even like watching scary movies in my house. Like,
okay, I thought you were gonna disagree with me. Okay, no, my mom.
I won't let them watch it in my house.
So in my house, it's always been a rule since I was a kid. My mom, once again, and maybe this is just because we grew up this way. Like, my mom never let us watch scary movies, and nobody even challenged that. I'm an adult, and there's so many things that I carry. Because, listen, nobody's watching scary movies or anything that's going to put you in a negative place in my home. You're not going to open the portal for any of that. You know? And my mom used to say that, people don't understand that you just open. And that's the same thing with negativity. Why are you putting yourself in a place of just receiving things that are not good for you?
Yeah.
Like, intentionally. Mm-hmm. The same thing that happened with music. I was telling Jessica that I honestly cannot listen to music today because everything is about the same crap about killing, about the amount of money you have and how much drugs you're doing. And it's exhausting. If I'm trying to be better, how am I ingesting that? Mm-hmm. Why am I ingesting that? I don't want to. So I need to listen to positive stuff, positive music that's going to propel me forward to where I want to go. Yeah. I can't listen to things that are just going to hinder me and bring me down and make me think shit that I shouldn't be thinking. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so that the power of words go even beyond that. Not only just saying that, but also what you're taking in. Be careful what you're letting in to your brain, especially if you're working on yourself and your children. We have to be careful about what we let our children watch or not watch and see and not see because it affects them.
I barely listen to music, honestly. I'm such a podcaster, like listening to podcasts. Mm-hmm. So even when I'm driving, cleaning, whatever,
I listen to instead
of listening to music, I listen to podcasts. Mm-hmm. But where I practice that is on my feeds, on my TikTok and Instagram feeds.
It's the same thing.
If I see, like, I feel like it was more Facebook, back in the Facebook. I barely even go into Facebook. But a lot of people would be posting their drama, their baby daddy did this.
I still see that. And
I would, like, unfollow so you don't have to keep seeing it. Mm-hmm. Like, not unfriend them, but like you can make it so that their posters don't show up in your feed. Mm-hmm. I make sure that I follow and like and engage with posts that are about the things that I'm focusing on, which is having healthy relationships, bettering yourself, self-reflecting, like a spiritual journey, all this stuff. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's important. What you consume is very important.
And people take it so lightly, like so nah.
You know what I saw? And maybe we can do this in the future. It's a consumption fast where it was a person who she's really, Michelle Panning. She has a podcast. Mm-hmm. She was posting stuff because that's still her job technically, but she wasn't consuming. She would like post her video and I think she did it for like 30 days. Don't quote me on this. I don't remember. But she wouldn't like scroll through any social media. She wouldn't consume at all. She was just posting. And
I kind of I've been wanting to do that. And I've done it in the past. For me, it's not that. The biggest problem is TikTok.
It's an endless hole.
It's not Instagram. It's not anything else, to be honest. Because I've been reading a lot of books.
I learned so much on TikTok.
Well, that's the thing. In TikTok, my algorithm knows now what I want to consume. So what it's feeding me is everything that I need. and that I want. So it's not negative. You know what I'm saying? It's things that I'm learning and spiritual stuff and like new like gadgets. And I'm like, I need to buy that. And so that's part of the problem too, like the spending, you know, like being mindful of that. But like, I want to go on a journey like that. I've read so many books. I've read 3 books in a week and a half because I've like put my phone down. I'm like, listen, right now my brain needs a break. And so let me read. So I've read 3 Colleen Hoover books
We need to work
in a
on
week
that.
and a half.
Let us know in the comments if we like in the future do like a consumption fast. Will anybody want to join us? We can maybe
A challenge.
Yeah, challenge ourselves. Maybe we can.
We'll still post for our podcast.
We'll still post, yeah, and we'll reply to comments like in YouTube, or maybe we'll have Jessica do that so that we can do the actual like full fast, and maybe we can like choose a book and have everybody who's doing the fast.
Ooh,
with us
a
read
book
it
club?
together. Yeah.
Colleen Hoover is my first one.
Let us know, like if you guys are into it. Let us know. If everybody thinks it's whack, then we'll just do it alone. But
Honestly, listen, if people that struggle with reading, Colleen Hoover, she's my girl. I've read a lot of her books. People don't like to read.
Or can't make the time to read.
They're such engaging.
I have one upstairs that I've read half of twice.
I gave her that book. When did I give you that book?
Girl, like last summer. Forever
I read
ago.
that book in 3 days. I think I told this. I said this on the podcast. I went to bed and at 3 a.m, I was like, no, I gotta find out what happens. And I woke up at 3 a.m. and I was like literally like dark circles into my eyes, like trying to finish the book. They're so good. They're so engaging. So if you want to get into reading, apart from a lot of self-help books, last week we recommended The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest, which is a great book.
Yes.
Honestly, that's not gonna bore you to death. It's so interesting.
One that I've read that's good is Atomic Habits.
Oh my goodness, that's my next one. I have it on my
That one's good. I have
Audible.
it upstairs.
Oh,
You can
I
take
just
it.
bought it on Audible. So.
Oh, well, I have the physical book upstairs.
Okay.
That one's good. It's not like a.
No, it's a
not
self-help,
fun,
but it's a self-help book.
It has really good information. There's something else that we want to announce officially. We are gonna have.
I didn't know you were gonna do that.
Yeah, well, we want people to ask us questions for this.
Okay, but are we gonna say who it is?
No.
Oh, okay.
If you let me talk.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
All right,
just so
guys.
excited.
We are so excited. We're gonna have a special guest.
Our first guest.
Our second, because our first guests were our babies.
Our first
Our
guest.
first guest that we didn't give
Fuck
birth
them
to.
kids and fuck you too. No, I'm kidding. If you know TikTok, you would know where that's from.
Our first special guest that we didn't birth. Okay, birth, push, pull, whatever.
That we didn't bring into this world.
Thank you. And this person is kind of lit on TikTok.
No,
very
kinda.
lit. I'm trying to not like sound like a
Listen,
groupie, but
You know what's so funny? I am a groupie because I've been following this person. Can I say it's a guy?
yeah,
It's
a
our
guy.
first man.
Yeah. No, it's important to know. I want you guys to know that this is a male, because if you guys have any questions, this is a Hispanic male. I'm going to say that.
Very important.
And if you have any questions that maybe you want a male perspective, please send them to the Dear Cynthia. Please DM us, whatever you guys
Please
want.
do it.
Contact us any which way. We're very excited about this special guest.
He has no idea.
It'll be next week, and he will be able to answer any questions that you have. I'm fangirling hard.
Listen. When everybody's like, should I write to him? I'm like, what can we do? The worst thing he can say is no. And guess what? He said yes. So I love him.
He said, I'm down. I was like, oh, is this real?
No, honestly, when she sent me that screenshot of him saying yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
not like a couple days.
No, not even a couple days. Al otro día, like 12 hours.
No, he didn't take long. Is what
He didn't take. He
yeah.
took long for me because I was waiting for an initial, like, you get a notification. and you
Listen, that
respond
was
right away.
short for me because you sent the text
It was like, yeah, al otro día, like
and
mediodía.
dude, let me just say,
If it's pretty famous, I
if
guess
you
it's pretty short.
exactly, that's what I'm saying. The fact that he was like down. Okay, first of all, if you are in the TikTok world, you're gonna know who it is because there's no way you haven't seen his videos. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's the last hint we'll
That's
give.
it.
You guys can guess in the comments.
We're very
We will not
excited.
confirm nor deny any of them.
No, we won't. I plead the fifth.
I also plead the fifth. I plead the sixth.
What is that one?
I don't know. Should we- one more than you? I don't know. That's probably not a thing.
No, but we're very excited, and it's gonna be a great show, and
Yes.
we know it is.
Yes.
He has a lot of the same view. I think that's the reason we wanted him so much. One, because he's freaking awesome, But two, I think he has a lot of this for a male in our community, in the Hispanic, specifically Dominican community. He has a lot of the same views that we have, and so I want to see the male perspective of what we're saying in relationships. So, ladies, questions in,
Please send us Dear Cynthia.
you know, parenting and all that, because he's also a father, and so I can't wait, and he's a millennial. So it's just all these things that he's like us, male version. I'm just so excited to talk to him. So I'm going to try to keep it as cool. I can't promise anything. I can't promise anything because I've been following him for a while.
Yeah.
So this is awesome.
Okay. Well, I think that's it for today.
Yes.
Thank you guys for being with us for a whole 15 episodes.
15, man.
I know.
Sweet 15.
That's my lucky number.
Sweet 15.
I feel I'm in a way better headspace at the end of this episode than I was in the beginning.
It's like working out. You worked out your brain muscles.
Yeah, I did.
And just, you know, talking and especially about things that you feel passionate about. Helps.
I'm thankful to this podcast because before it was so easy for me to get in a funk and stay in that funk for a long time.
Same.
So,
but when we're forced to work,
every
we don't got a
week
choice.
I'm forced to throw on these lashes and hide my face behind all this makeup. It makes me like, okay.
Oh, by
like,
the way, you guys like my hair? See, we told you we're trying different things. So
I love it. As soon as you walked in, I was like, babe, your hair looks great.
I'm just like, what do we? This needs to grow quick.
Can I just say real quick before we end? Cynthia's weekly nails are fabulous. And if anybody has like a nail polish brand or something that wants to sponsor her, she needs to be a nail polish model. We need to have that be a thing.
I would love to because I pay my nails on the weekly.
I do not.
I do.
I do not.
I love nail polish.
I'm working on, let me use the power of my words. I'm working on prioritizing my self-care in regards to my physical, like how I look.
We all are. I just signed up for the gym.
Oh, period.
Well, because we canceled that. WOW let me down. I've been a WOW member for years. And since COVID, you know, they shut down their daycare. And it's like, what's the point? You know, so I signed up for a gym that has daycare. So we're working on
baby steps, babe. Baby steps. All right, guys. Thank you.
Damn.
Episode 15 in the books. And we will be posting every day on TikTok for 30 days. Please go follow us on
Day
TikTok.
4 right now.
Jessica, add our TikTok handles here. Right here. Is this where it goes in the page?
Sin City.
I don't remember.
I couldn't think of one. So that was it. But anyways.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for getting tipsy with us.
And for keeping it truthful.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.